तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा. So welcome back to the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the nectar of devotion summary study. We have been discussing Bhava Bhakti. This is the fourth class, and maybe another one class we will be having, one or two maximum, and that will end the Bhava Bhakti series. Prema Bhakti is only 2 classes. Okay, so we are just coming to the end, but we should remember that it is the beginning. We have to go back to the definition of pure devotional service. It's very exalted, pure devotional service. Anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadya anavritam anukulena krishna anushilanam. Anushilanam here means continuously doing activity for Krishna, and no activity you do for any other thing. Because if you do any other activity, then it is karmavrita. So it's a very exalted platform, pure devotional service. But we are practicing sadhana bhakti slowly. By practicing sadhana bhakti, we should, pure devotional service is very, very exalted. So we should understand, where we are actually. We are still in kindergarten. Even if we are 10, 15 years in Krishna consciousness, we are far, far away from, Ananya Bhakti. Krishna is telling about Ananya Bhakti in the Gita. Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. What does Ananyas Chintayanto Mam mean? Mohan Rup Sham Prabhuji. Ananya Chintayan Mam. Krishna is saying, what does it mean?
Very pure devotional service. Not even tainted with any one single.
No. Just the word Ananya Chintayantuma. Chintayan is there. Think.
Yeah,
Constant.
consciousness.
Ananya. And Ananya is there. And Mam, Krishna is saying.
Think of him continuously.
Yes. That means no other thought, but just his
Think of
thought is fixed in Krishna.
Krishna.
Ananyas Chintayantama. For some, for that, ye jana paripasate. Those who like that do my upasana, for them, Krishna says, Tesham. He says, Yogakshema Vahima. I take care of your Yogakshema. Otherwise, we make our arrangements. Because we are not at Ananya. Ananya Cheta Satatam Yoma Smarti Nityasha. So Yoma Smarati Nityasha. What does Yomam Smarati Nityasha mean? Yaha means who, Smarati means remember, Nityasha means always. So what it means?
You think of me. You Smarati.
One who always remembers me.
One
who always remembers me. So how exalted is Ananya Bhakti? Uttama Bhakti or Ananya Bhakti? Are we at that platform? Krishna is speaking about all this in the Gita. I am speaking from the Gita, not from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu also. So Ananya Bhakti is very, very exalted. But we have to practice sadhana and do more of hearing and chanting, and soak our consciousness with Krishna in our sadhana so that we can come to that platform of pure devotional service. So we have been discussing Bhava Bhakti. Now, today, the reliable proofs for Bhava Bhakti is what is the topic. After Rupa Goswami has spoken about how Bhava Bhakti arises, now he will speak about what are the reliable proofs of that one is, a Bhava Bhakta. How can you, what are the qualities of a person who has developed Bhava Bhakti? What are the typical actions or anubhavas? So this is the theme of discussion. It's quite simple and we'll go through this quickly. Okay, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1, 3, 25 and 26. This verse also is very interesting and we should know this. There are 9 symptoms. Shantiravyartha kalatvam, viraktirmanya shunyata, ashabandha samutkantha, dhame gane sadaruchi, asaktis gunakhyane, प्रीतिस्तद वसति स्थले इत्यादयो नुभावस्यु jhat bhavankurjane. Jane means the people. The anubhavas or the characteristics. So here anubhava has a different meaning. It means characteristics or lakshana, what sometimes we say. That means anubhavas means we know now actions. So what are the actions of a person who has bhava? What are the actions? The characteristics or anubhavas of a person who has developed a bud of bhava, jata bhavankur jane. Jane means the person or the person who has developed, are as follows. Itya adayo su. Shantir. Tolerance. Not wasting time. Avyartha kalatvam. That means satatam kirtayanto mam. Yatantascha drida vrata. Namasyante tu mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. As in the Gita 9.15 also it is said. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritim ashita bhajante ananya manaso gyatva bhu. Ananya manaso. Fully undivided attention. They are worshipping me and they are not doing any other business. 24 hours. That's what they are doing. Very, very exalted platform. So Bhava Bhakta is, not wasting even a moment. A Bhava Bhakta, his situation, is that for a moment, if he forgets Krishna, he says, I am fallen in Maya. And a neophyte, in a day, once he remembers Krishna, he thinks I'm very exalted. Such is the contrast between a neophyte and a Mahabhagavat. So Mahabhagavat never forgets even for a moment Krishna. That is only possible at Bhava stage. Because at Bhava, our attraction, our rati towards Krishna is almost like 95% or 99%, like that. So we can imagine what is, avyartha kalatvam. Detachment from enjoyment, virakti. Virakti manifests at the stage of bhava. Manashunyata, pridelessness. Confidence in the Lord's mercy, asha bandha. He's completely having confidence that the Lord will bestow mercy. He feels always himself very fallen and expecting the Lord's grace. Longing for the Lord, samutkanta. Anyone can think what is the meaning of samutkanta? Anyone can think about samutkanta? Kanta means throat. I'm giving a hint. Now you can think samutkanta. What does it mean? Anyone can try? Not a problem. What is samutkanta? Kanta means I said throat. So again, there are sam and ut is there. So you can break that and just think what can be the meaning. Samutkanta. Or utkanta is there, and then there is samutkanta. Anyone can try? You can try. Not a problem. Anyone? Okay. Kanta means throat. Yes. Utkanta means, ut means up. Okay. Up. And, when you're enthusiastic, to have the darshan of the Lord, your throat is up to take darshan of the Lord. Like that, lady who climbed on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, she had so much enthusiasm to have the darshan of Jagannath. She was not conscious that she was climbing on a sannyasi. And Mahaprabhu was so careful with respect to Mataji's that, once he was, going through with his associates on the bank of the river, Yapuri, and he saw the mountain, or he saw, actually, I don't recollect. He saw, I think he heard a lady singing song of Jagannath's pastimes or something, and he just ran towards that. He was so much attracted. And then Swarup Damodar had to follow and shout at Mahaprabhu's ears that it's a lady. Oh, you saved me. But here Mahaprabhu allowed a lady to climb, and when Swarup Damodar was stopping, or Govinda was stopping, he said, she has so much enthusiasm, let her climb, let her climb. He did not mind. So ut means up, kanta means kanta, and sammut kanta means full, samyak rupa, perfect, enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is love in one sense. That's the meaning. So he is always enthusiastic to have darshan of the Lord, always enthusiastic in his devotional service. Utkanta. This kind of enthusiasm we should have. Prabhupada says in the Bhagavatam, Shushushu Shraddha Dhanasyo, that verse, commentary, the last line he says, eagerness to hear about the Lord is the first, step in going back to Godhead. The first step you have to take, eagerness. You have to have that eagerness. You have to be eager. You have to be enthusiastic. So that is Samutkanta. Taste for chanting the name of the Lord. Namegane Sada Ruchi. Definitely a Bhava Bhakta will have taste because that Ruchi only has developed taste. Attachment to discussing about Lord's qualities. Asaktis tad guna akyan. And attachment to living in the abode of the Lord. Pritis tad vasati stale. So these are the 9. The main qualities of a person having bhava is now explained. Jiva Goswami gives a one-line commentary. So it's not that somebody's, you see a devotee, he is sitting and chanting and tears are coming from his eyes and he is manifesting the Ashtasattvic vikars. What do you think? Oh, he must be a Bhava Bhakta. But these can be also imitated. My first experience, I joined in 2002. And after 10 days, we went for a Jagannath Puri Yatra with His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj. And in the Remuna, in the Kirchor Gopinath Mandir, I was just sitting and chanting with another devotee. And we saw one devotee there, he just sitting and chanting and tears were coming from his eyes. And we were surprised. And the devotee asked, Maharaj, what is this state? He said, just like a person who repairs engine of a vehicle, when the engine starts, then he can understand, what is fault with the engine, because he's trained, how to repair an engine. So similarly, a pure devotee can recognize who is having bhava. And these are the symptoms, these 9, not the external manifestations of tears coming from the eyes and all, or horripation. So we know that there are so many apasampradayas. There are 13 which Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions, and they all imitate, also they are in the exalted platform. But that's not Bhava Bhakti. Bhava Bhakti has to be recognized if they have these 9 characteristics. Okay. Shobha hetav api prapte shantir akshu bi atmata. So now, first thing is Shanti. First thing he explains. Tolerance means Shanti, being undisturbed. Akshubhya atmata, even when there is cause of disturbance. Shobha heta prapte api. So first he defines what is Shanti. You are completely undisturbed. The senses don't disturb you, mind don't disturb you, because the subtle body is pure at Bhava Bhakti. So nothing disturbs you. No external causes can disturb you, nor there are any internal, in the chitta, things which can come and, come on the mirror of our mind and disturb us. So because the subtle body is pure, so he is not disturbed. He is having that tolerance. And that's why humility and tolerance are both interrelated. The more one has humility, the more he has the capacity to tolerate. So tolerance is one of the quality. So now he gives a proof for the Shanti. Yatha pratame. Tammopayatam pratiyantu vipra ganga cha devi dhritachittamishe dvijopasrishta kuhakastakshako va dashastu alam kayati vishnu gata. So completely undisturbed was Parikshit, although he was cursed to die in 7 days by a bite of Takshaka. Can remember what kind of consciousness Maharaj Parikshit was. He was not at all disturbed about death, because he had already encountered that in his womb. And in fact, when the Brahmastra attacked him in the womb, he was in the Kshatriya spirit to counteract it. So fearless he was, Parikshit. And now why will he be, disturbed with this curse of Shringi Rishi? Oh Brahmanas, Vipra, just accept me, Mam Pratiyantu, as a completely surrendered soul. Upayatam, and let Mother Ganges, the representative of the Lord, also accept me in that way. Ganga cha Devi, for I have already taken the lotus feet of the Lord in my heart. Dhrita chitta ishe. Let the snake bird, or whatever magical thing, Kuhakas Takshakuva, the Brahmana created, Dvijopasrashta, bite me at once. Dashata alam, I only desire that you all continue singing the deeds of Lord Vishnu. Gayata Vishnu Gata. So we can imagine when tests come to us, we can understand whether we are in this kind of consciousness, that we have taken complete shelter of Krishna and we are not disturbed. So Parikshit Maharaj was not at all disturbed. So this is one proof he gives for Shanti. Just as the great devotee, just as the great tolerance of Parikshit is seen here because of his great prema, it is understood that when he had previously developed bhava, the sprout of prema, his tolerance also had sprouted in a similar way. Other examples should be understood in the same way. So there are many examples. So he gives only one proof. Vishnu Thakur says Parikshit is not disturbed, though understanding he is approaching death, which was the cause of disturbance. In the Gita also there are so many proofs. Sukam matyantikam yattad buddhi graham atindriyam vetti yatra na chaiva sitas chalati yam labdva chaparam labam na manyate. I'm not able to recollect the verse. It is 6.20 to 23. There also about a yogi it is spoken. Anyway, I'll not refer that, but just to give an idea, 6:20 to 23 also is mentioning that Guruna api na vichalet. Even a greatest of the greatest calamity falls upon him, na vichalet. He is not disturbed at all. Okay. Avyartha kalatvam yata hari bhakti suhodaya. So he doesn't define avyartha kalatvam, but directly he gives proof for it from the Hari Bhakti Suhodaya. Bhagavistuvanto manasa smaranta tanvanamantopi anisham natripta bhakta sarvan netra jala samagram ayurhare eva samarpayanti. The devotees, bhakta, it is plural, continually praise the Lord with words. Vagabhi stuvanta. Remember him with their minds. Manasa smaranti. And offer respects with their bodies. Tanva namanti api. Still they are not satisfied. Anisham na tripta. With tears flowing from their eyes. Shravana netra jala. They offer their complete lives to the Lord. Samagram ayur harer eva samarpayanti. So like that, continuously they are glorifying the Lord, they are remembering the Lord, they are offering respects to the Lord. So we cannot fathom this exalted level of Bhava Bhakta. Anyone knows how many times Raghunath Das Goswami was offering obeisances every day? Anyone knows? Anyone knows? Yes. He was offering 1,000 obeisances to the deities every day and 2,000 to the Vaishnavas. Now let's do some practical exercise. Think about it. When you go in the assembly of Vaishnavas, suppose there are 10-15 Vaishnavas. In the morning, Mangalarti. In fact, it is an etiquette that when we see the Vaishnava, you should offer obeisances. Now, 15 Vaishnavas, you try to offer obeisances, you feel mind will say, my goodness, this is too much of austerity. I can't do it. The mind will revolt. The mind will revolt. So 2,000 obeisances to Vaishnavas and 1,000 to the deities. So at least we should, in our sadhana stage, offer always obeisances to Vaishnavas in the mind and more possible with the body also. Because that is an austerity we have to practice to become humble. This tolerance level is very, very high in Bhava Bhaktas, very high, we can't imagine. So we have to create that by cultivation, at least as a sadhana for us, because we are sadhakas. Okay. Atha Virakti. So now he defines Virakti. Viraktir indriyartanam swad arochakata swayam. Detachment means virakti swad, having a natural distaste for the object of the senses. Indriyarthanam swayam arochakata. There is completely virakti for sense enjoyment at all. Jiva Goswami says here detachment is the cause and distaste is the effect. Cause is detachment and effect is distaste, but they are considered the same in the definition because they are mutually dependent. So where in the Krishna in the Gita speaks about this? Anyone knows in the Gita some reference? He speaks about detachment from sense objects. Anyone knows? Okay, I'll give a hint. 13th chapter of the Gita. Now at least I would like to see someone raise their hands. Anyone can try. Yes, anyone would like to try? Please don't tell that we have still not studied Bhakti Shastri Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita from last, every day we should study. Last 10-15 years, many are practicing. So I'm showing you the verse. Indriya arteshu vairagya. Indriya means the senses. Arteshu means the sense objects. There is vairagya. This is the quality of a jnani, and it is there in the devotee also for us. Okay, just a reference I gave. So this is a virakti, and this manifests directly for a a devotee when he comes to the bhava stage. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janeti Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Tad Ahetukam. So when the bhakti fully matures at the stage of bhava, then full virakti detachment comes. Till then, you know how much we are struggling to detach ourselves from sense objects. But with the practice of bhakti, when bhakti comes to the stage of bhava, Janeti Ashu Vairagyam, Vairagya comes. And that bhakti is endowed with, that bhava bhakti it is. That bhava bhakti which gives full detachment. Only a bhava bhakta is fully detached. So we should understand this is a very, very exalted platform. Okay, the Praman, Yata Panchami. Yo Duschajan Dharasutan Suridrajam Ridhi Sprasha Jaho Yueva Malavad Uttama Shloka Lalasa. Bharat, who longed to serve the Lord. Yaha Uttama Shloka Lalasa. He had a deep lalsa desire to serve the Lord. What? Gave up wife, sons, friends, and kingdom. Jaho, Jaho means give up. Dara, Dara is wife. Sutan, sons. Surid, friends. Rajam, as if they were stool. Malavad, though they were touching to the heart. Ridhi Sprusha. What the poetic way. What is dear to our heart. Prabhupada says this society, friendship, and love is what is keeping us here in this material world. We have attachment to family, society, friendship, all this, which is very dear to our heart. It is actually like stool, malavad, but we are holding on to it. And thus, difficult to give up at a young age. Yueva Dushtajan. At a very young age, Maharaj Bharat gave up. He developed bhava, and that's why he was able to give up. Just like one, answers nature call, and traditionally, you used to go outside in the nature and answer a nature call. And once you evacuate, you don't look back. Just don't look back. So similarly, he just gave up all these things. That was the kind of virakti Maharaj Bharat had developed. Ata man shunyata. If you have any questions, you can always raise your hands. I'm just going to go through now each of these 9 anubhavas or characteristics and their pramans. Utkrishtatve, Utkrishtatve, Apya, Amanitvam, Katayita Manashunyata. So what is Manishunyata? Pridelessness means Manishunyata Katayita. In spite of having a high position, Utkrishtatve Apya, being humble, being very, very exalted in his consciousness, very exalted, he considers himself very, very humble and simple. So this is the quality of Manishunyata. Now, Yata Padme, proof for this Manishunyata. Haroratim Vahan Esha Narendranam Shikamani Bhiksham Atan Paripure Swapakam Api Vandyate. King Bhagirath, though the crest jewel among kings, Narendranam Shikamani, he was the crest jewel among all kings, went out begging at the house of his enemies. Aripure Bhiksham Atan, and offered respects to the dog eaters. Swapakam api vandate, because he had rati for the Lord. Haro ratim vahan. So you can imagine what an exalted level of consciousness that he's offering respect to even the dog eaters. He was going begging to the house of his enemies. That is the kind of attraction he had developed for the Lord, that he was completely free from, oh, I'm a king. There was no pride, there was no ego in it. So ego, the material ego, is completely destroyed at Bhava stage. And our Swarupa is revealed. That's why we are situated in our Swarupa, and the soul by nature is humble. The soul understands how tiny and infinite and small I am, and how glorious is the Lord. So, he can fathom the glories of the Lord, although they are unfathomable, and he considers himself completely insignificant. So the more closer you go to the Lord, the more humble you become. And the more far we are away from the Lord, the more we have all these demonic qualities of pride, of damba, darpa, abhimana, and all this. Ata asha banda. Asha bando bhagavata praptir sambhavana drita. What is asha banda? He defines. Confidence means asha banda, firm assumption that one will attain the Dridha Bhagavata Prapti Sambhavana. He has firm faith in the heart. I will attain the Lord. We are far, far away from it now of attaining the Lord. When we'll, finish our 16 rounds, that's all are in our consciousness. But Bhava Bhakta has that Asha Bandha. Okay, this is the reference. Sanatana Goswami's reference is giving. I will just read the translation. Prabhupadena Ukta, he mentions. Prabhupadena Ukta means, he's referring to Sanatana Goswami. So how he's expressing this emotion of Asha Bandha, Sanatana Goswami's one verse is quoting here. I do not have prema or practices of hearing or chanting in bhakti. Na prema shravanadi bhaktir apiva. I have no practice of meditation of Vishnu in the Ashtanga Yoga process. Yogo atava Vaishnavo. So Vaishnava Yoga also I have not done, nor the Ashtanga Yoga. Nor do I have practice of Gyan or Varnashram duties. Gyanam va Shubha Karma va Kiyad Aho. I do not even have good birth to execute these actions properly. Saj Jatir Api Astiva. I have not born in a good birth to do these actions, doing Shubha Karma. But since you are most merciful to the least qualified, Hinartha Adhika Sadhake Twayi. Oh dear lover of the gopis, hey Gopi Janavallabha, though I have impure desires, Achhed Moola Tatapi, My aspiration for you continues. Mad ashiva sati, to agitate me. Ha ha gatayatha. So, Trunadapi Sunichena, Dinera Prabhu Adhik Kare Daya. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, I'm just quoting this verse from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. I don't know the full verse. But those who are Dina, the Lord shows more mercy. So he's mentioning that Hina, Hinartha Adhika Sadake Toi. Those who are think themselves as most heen, you are more merciful to them. So this is a very beautiful meditation for us also. We can repeatedly recite and understand the mood and consciousness of Sanatana Goswami here. Yoga indicates Ashtanga Yoga. When meditation on Vishnu is prominent, in that yoga it becomes Vaishnava Yoga. Like we know, Smaran is also part of Raganuga Bhakti. So it is Vaishnava Yoga. This meditation incorporating Vishnu or other deities in meditation is called as Sagarbha in the yoga system. Sagarbha. Gyan refers to steadiness in Brahman. Shubha Karma refers to mainly the Varnashram activities. Good birth is the cause of attaining qualification for the previously mentioned items of Yoga, Gyan and Karma. So if you have Adhikar, if you are having a good birth, if you have performed Punya, then you can do Varnashram duties of Karma. If you have done a lot of Sukruti you have in Gyan Marg, you can do Gyan. If you have Sukruti in Yoga Marg, you will do Yoga. All these paths require Adhikar. Don't think that to practice Karma, you don't need Adhikar. You have to be in the Varnashram and you have to be leading a very pious life. Today, in the whole world, nobody is having Adhikar even to practice Karma. Everyone is just doing sinful activities. Everyone who is by nature a Vaishya, businessman, he is simply doing business cheating. But real business means Krishi Goraksha Vanijam. According to Vaishya duties, which are there in the Dharma Shastra, he has to do that. So then he is situated in Varnashram. Otherwise, all these are Vikarma only at all. All are Vikarma today. These other processes are shown as causes for attaining the Lord only because of the accompanying performance of Bhakti, which is also mentioned in the list. Ultimately, Bhakti is the highest, but these paths help us to come to that level also. So ultimately, Bhakti is the highest. Jiva Goswami. Concerning yoga, Kapila shows in the third canto of Bhagavatam how yoga can be combined with Bhakti. So the third canto it is there. The position of Gyan in relation to Bhakti is shown in the Gita in the verse Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Shubha Karma should be practiced with Bhakti as illustrated in Savai Pumsan Paro Dharma Yato Bhakti Adoksh. I have thirst, Asha for attaining the Lord, not motivated by prema for the Lord, but by desire for my own happiness. Since I have deeply rooted desires for personal enjoyment, which are difficult to remove. Acheda Mula. Mula means deep rooted. Acheda means it is, it cannot be cut. It's very Achedayam, Adhayoyam. The soul cannot be cut like that. No? So these deep rooted material desires are difficult to remove. Then what should I do? Jiva Goswami is asking a question. I continue to hanker for you because I think you can turn that material desire into prema, since you are extra merciful to those who are most deficient. Hinartha adhika sadhake. The lack of qualification expressed in this verse is only an expression of humility, since he is actually not fallen. Sanatana Goswami is a very exalted soul. So it's just his humility. And thus the verse is used as an example of a stage at the stage of a person at the stage of Rati. In chapter 28, Kapila describes the process of Ashtanga Yoga with meditation in the form of the Lord. Even to perfect Gyan, realization of Brahman, a person must perform Bhakti. So there is one Anga of Bhakti within the Gyan process also. It is only Bhakti which is present in that Gyan process gives the result for that Jnani. So Bhakti is so glorious. Even somebody who is doing varnashram duties of karma, because there is a small element of bhakti in that, he's offering it to Vishnu, karmarpanam. That bhakti element which is present is actually bestowing the results of his karma. And similarly is Gyan or Ashtanga. The yoga is Vaishnava yoga. The Jnanam is knowledge concerning the Lord. The Shubha karma is the services performed by the devotee. So here Vishwanath Chakravarti gives all the meanings of yoga, jnana, karma, and in a devotional context. In a devotional context, he mentions. So yoga means Vaishnava yoga, jnana means knowledge about the Lord, Shubha karma means doing activities for the Lord, activities done by the devotee for the Lord. Thus the meaning is, I do not perform hearing and chanting with devotion. I do not concentrate my mind on the Lord. I have no knowledge of the Lord, nor do I perform any service for the Lord. I do not have a birth suitable for serving the Lord. I have been born among the lowest people. By seeing or touching me, one must bathe for purification. My unflinching desire for you, who make yourself readily available to the least qualified, gives me great disturbance. Jagannath is Patita Pavan. So why we cannot attain Jagannath? If Jagannath is Patita Pavan, what is the problem? Anyone can think about it? Meditate upon it. Jagannath is Patita Pavan. So why we cannot attain Jagannath? The hint is there here, the last line. Here it is mentioned. Anyone can try? Why don't we attain Jagannath or Krishna? Mohan Ruksham Prabhuji, what do you think?
No, Prabhuji, I'm not getting it.
Okay, anyone else would like to try? I would like to ask questions. Especially Mataji, what is the reason we don't attain the Lord then?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Is it because we are not begging for that mercy?
Yeah. Okay, but exactly one word. Jagannath is Patita Pavan. So who can attain him? Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes, Lata Mataji.
Krishna Prabhu, I'm not considering myself as fallen.
Yes.
And also not having the unflinching desire also.
Yeah. You know, we don't consider ourselves Patita. That is the problem. Otherwise, we'll attain the Lord. So we are not considering ourselves as. What is Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaking in their prayers? Please regularly recite these prayers. Gauranga Karuna Koro Dina Hina Jane Samapatita Prabhu Nahi Tribhuani Dante Drinadari Gaura Takiye Tumar Kripa Karo Eshu Ama Hridaya Mandere. Narottam Das Thakur is singing this song. Gauranga Karuna Koro. Gauranga Karuna Karo. Dina Hina Jane. Gauranga will do Karuna to whom? Deen. Those who think themselves very humble. And Mosama Patita Prabhu. He's saying Mosama Patita Prabhu Nahi Paibe Tribhuane. In the entire 14 planetary systems, you will not find more fallen than me. So I'm more qualified. I'm more qualified to attain your mercy. Yadi daya na karibe patita dekiya. Yadi daya na karibe. If you don't show mercy, seeing my patita condition, patita dekiya, patita pavan nama kishera lagiya. Then what is the use of your name as Patita Pavan? If you don't do, so this is how Narottama Das Thakur is asking. So the songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and songs of Narottama Das Thakur have to be reflected deeply, deeply, regularly. We should sing these bhajans. And we sing the famous bhajan of Narottama Das Thakur. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu. No, what is that famous bhajan we sing? Shri Krishna Chaitanya Daya Karo Sitapati Advaita Gosai Tava Kripa Paye Chaitanya Nita Daya Karo Nityananda. There also Narottama Das Thakur is saying, I am most fallen. So Patita, we don't consider ourselves Patita, and that's why we don't get the Patita Pavan mercy. And those who are in the Bhava stage, only this genuine humility of the soul manifests, in fact. But that consciousness manifests. So we as sadhakas, at least we should do some meditation in the form of writing down. Just think about my previous life before coming to Krishna consciousness. What kind of activities I was engaged? Sinful activities. Oh my goodness, what kind of sinful life I have led. So this kind of meditations is good for our chanting. And chanting in this kind of, what kind of offenses I have committed since the day I joined devotional service. We have started committing offenses not before joining Krishna consciousness. Only after joining we have started committing offenses to Vaishnavas. And because of Vaishnava aparadhs, our devotion has not fructified. Because if you are free from Vaishnava aparadhs and Nama aparadhs, then we will attain Bhava Bhakti. So how much we are implicated in offenses? Because we are not humble. We are not humble. And that's why we are not tolerant. And that's why we are not getting the results of Bhakti. Bhakti is very potent. Krishna Prasad, Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions, Prapancha Jaya, I will conquer the world by taking Krishna Prasad. But our tongues go out of control when we have Prasad. Because we are not able to get full mercy of the Lord in the Mahaprasad, because our heart is still inflicted with aparadhs. That is the reason. Anyway, this is out of context, but still it is very important. Least qualified. And because I have that I know that you are Patita Pavan, and this this is giving me great disturbance. This is giving me great disturbances. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in one of his meditation, he says that what is the relationship between me and Jagannath? He says that you are Patita Pavan and I am the most fallen. Let that be the relation between me and you. Let that be the relation between you and me. Okay. Oh my goodness, how many times the same? I don't know why. Jiva Goswami. This is again Jiva Goswami. Okay. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, we just read this. Okay, last. Okay, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It is understood, it should be understood that the desire expressed in this verse is a desire only for attaining the service at the level of prema, arising from pure bhakti devoid of karma, jnana or yoga, because it is supposed to be an example of asha bandha, confidence expressed at the stage of bhava. So this desire, asha bandha, lalsamay prayers are actually offered in the in which stage? We have studied these three kinds of prayers. When we studied the angas of bhakti, there are three kinds of prayers, and Rupa Goswami gave evidence for them. Anyone knows? And I discussed quite in detail about also Narottama Das Thakur speaking about it. Anyone remembers? Three types of prayers. Anyone? I'll have to ask from the audience. Lata Mataji?
Prabhu, I know one is Lalsa prayers, and one we will pray when we are in, it's like when we are longing for the Lord.
That is Lalsa.
And
Longing for
then
God.
when we are in difficulty,
There is Sampratmatmika, Dainyabodhika, and Lalsamai. These are the three categories. In Sadhana Bhakti, we discuss this. Sampratmatmika means offering the prayers with body, mind, and sadhakas usually offer this. Dainyabodhika is when humility has dawned in after Nishtha stage. And Lalsamai are for perfection at Bhava stage, when we want to attain perfection. So this is for a Bhava Bhakta who wants to attain Prema. So this kind of hankering is there in his heart. Other explanations are not mentioned because they are impossible. Krishna Chakatakur is saying, we cannot explain these other things in detail because it is impossible to explain, about Bhava Bhakti. Ata samutkanta. Longing, samutkanta, having intense greed, guru, lubdata. We know in Raganuga Bhakti there is greed, but as we go to Ruchi, Asakti Bhava, the greed is going to manifest to attain the Lord. For attaining the service of the Lord. Nija Vishta Labhaya. So personal service of the Lord in the spiritual world, to attain that longing is there. At least we should long to attain some service in our temples, to attain service for the Vaishnavas. Ata Shri Krishna Karnamrate. From the Shri Krishna Karnamrit, I cannot recite these verses because they are in a completely different tune and chanda, very, very difficult. Anara Anam Ramasit Prorupichitam Makshi Pakshamankureshu Alolam Manuranginor Nayanor Ardram Brudo Jalpite Atam Ram Adamritam Madakalam Am Plan Vamshi Swaneshu Ashad Ashaste Mamalochanam Rajashishor Murtim Jagan Mohinim. This is not the right tune and the meter. These are very difficult verses to be sung. So please forgive me. I don't know this meter and neither I can, it requires a lot of practice to recite these especially Krishna Karnamrit prayers. I long to see the young Krishna. Mama Lochanama Ashate Raja Shishor Murti, who enchants the universe. Jagan Mohini, with his bent black eyebrows. Anaram Asid Brewer Upachitam, with his thick eyelashes. Akshini Pakshanku Reshu, with his attractive shifty eyes. Alolam Anu Raginor Nayanor, with his soft words. Mrudu Jalpite, which melt the heart. Ardram, with his sweet red lips. Ataram Adamrate, and with the intoxicating sound. Mother Kalam, emanating from the clear notes of his flute. Vamshi Swaneshu, from the Krishna Karnamrit. So this is the kind of Samutkanta devotee expresses in Bhava stage. Krishna Karnamrit prayers are not for us. Those who have attained Bhava Bhakti, Prema Bhakti, it is meant for them. Those are liberated. So we should never study these books because they are very, very exalted. But still, Rupa Goswami is just giving one reference of Samutkanta to attain, to have the darshan of the Lord. Atha Nama Gana Sadaruchi Yatha Rodana Bindu Mardaya Swandi Drik Indi Varda Govinda Tava Madhur Swarakanti Gayati Nama Malim Bala. O Govinda, today the young girl with a sweet voice, whose lotus eyes are streaming with tears of honey, is singing your names. So this is, so much nectar is there that when you're singing the names, what is happening? The voice is sweet, the eyes are streaming with tears of honey out of love. Tada gunakhyane asakti, attachment to constantly chanting the glories of the Lord. Madhurayadapi maduram manmathata taskim api kaishoryam chapalayad api chapalam cheto bat harita hant kim kurma. Again from Krishna Karnamrit. That youthful Krishna with the qualities of Cupid, who's extremely sweet, madhurayad api maduram, and extremely fickle, chapalayad api chapalam, has stolen my heart. Cheto bata harati. What should I do? Hanta kim kurma. So this is the situation of Bilvamangal Thakur. So his wonderful qualities of Krishna is narrating here. Anyone knows what does Krishna Karnamrit mean? Just think about it. Krishna Karna Amrit. What does it mean? Anyone can try. Okay. Yes, Madan Mohan Chaitanya Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. I think it means honey for the nectar for the ears.
Okay. Karna and Amrit you have explained. Karna means ears, Amrita. So now what is Krishna Karnamrita?
Means Krishna Katha.
No. Don't go into other zones. Just stick to Krishna Karna Amrita. You have given Amrit meaning. You have given Karna meaning. So Krishna, you have to explain. That's it.
All attractive.
Okay. 1 minute. Nitya Sevini Mataji. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. It is just like a nectar of Krishna's mercy. How to get Krishna's mercy?
No, see, there is no mercy word there. There is Karna and Amrita.
Yes. Amrita is a nectar.
Amrita is nectar. Karna means
Karna is ears. Yes. Yeah.
Krishna is there. Krishna Karnamrita. That is our book name. Yes.
The nectar which is coming out from the Krishna's. It's related to hearing, Prabhu.
Yes. But no, see, who has written Krishna Karnamrita? Who has written Krishna Karnamrita?
I don't know, Prabhu.
Oh, Divison Thakur. A great pure devotee of the Lord. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to hear when he was in the Gambhira last few years. He used to hear Geet Govind,
Yes.
Jayadeva Goswami, Krishna Karnamrit, Bilvamangal Thakur, and Chandidas, Vidyapati's songs of very, very exalted.
Okay.
So Bilvamangal Thakur wrote Krishna Karnamrit. That which gives nectar to even Krishna.
Oh.
Krishna Karnamrit means that which gives nectar to
Krishna.
Krishna's ears.
Yes.
Bilvamangal Thakur, when he used to recite Krishna Karnamrit, Krishna used to come and sit in front of him and hear, because it was giving him nectar. Anyone knows about the life of Bilvamangal Thakur? I told anyway, Krishna Karnamrit is very exalted for very, very liberated souls, but at least the life of Bilvamangal Thakur is interesting. So just 2 or 3 minutes, can I just speak about Bilva Mangal Thakur? Is it okay? Just connect my computer. Power. So is it okay to speak a little bit about Bilva Mangal Thakur? Mohan Rup Shyam Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu, why not? Yes, Prabhuji.
So Bilva Mangal Thakur, I'll just summarize in, it's a long description, but just few minutes I'll summarize. Bilva Mangal Thakur lived somewhere in the, it's not clear, maybe 12th, 13th, whichever, it's not clear at all. But the story is that he was in South India somewhere near the Krishna Vena river, and he was married, he was a Grahastha, but he was attracted to Chintamani, who was staying at the side of the river. Every day he used to go and visit Chintamani. Chintamani, who used to sing songs. And one day his father had left the world. And when the last rites were carried out, the body was burning, but Bilva Mangal's heart, Thakur's heart, was burning in the separation of Chintamani. And his chaste wife could understand the heart of the husband. She said, at least today don't go, because your father has left the world. You're just, finishing the final rites. At least today don't go. But Bilva Mangal Thakur was in no mood. He said, when this program will get over and I'll go and visit Chintamani. So it was late in the evening and Bilva Mangal Thakur was so determined. There was thunderstorm, there was rain, there was lightning, there was a heavy, flow of the river of Krishna Vena river. And Bilva Mangal wanted to go on the other side because the final rite program was a little late. And he wanted to see Chintamani. So what he did is he just caught hold of a shaft, like a small boat, and crossed the river in that heavy rainfall, heavy waves which were coming in the rain. Somehow he reached the other side. And now because there was heavy thunderstorm and heavy, lightning, he was knocking the door and the gate. Chintamani was a prostitute. She was like a, I don't know what is the term to be used, like a entertainer, for all royal people. So they have their dances and all that. So she was very known like that. Not exactly like a prostitute. Please forgive me for that. But I don't know the term. Devadasi, something like that they say, no? But not exactly the Devadasi is what is referred in Jagannath here, because they are very exalted personality who sing for Jagannath pleasure. But so he was knocking, but because of the lightning and the storm, the noise was not heard. So he somehow had to, jump the compound and go on the other side inside the house. So he caught hold of a rope and jumped on the other side, and he fell. And that noise impact Chintamani, who was inside, what happened? There was sudden like huge noise. So she came out and she saw Bilva Mangal in this condition. She was struck because how did he come? He said, in such a heavy rain. He said, I caught hold of a shaft. But how did he jump this wall? I caught hold of a rope, he said. So he was so much in illusion that shaft, what he thought of a boat, is what is a dead corpse. And the rope, what he thought, was actually a snake. But see the determination of Chintamani, Bilva Mangal Thakur. He was so determined to see Chintamani. That same determination if we have for Krishna. So when Chintamani spoke these words, that for this dead flesh, beauty of this flesh, you are attracted, and so much, if you had the same attraction for Krishna, you would have attained the Lord of your heart. So when she spoke these sharp words which pierced his heart, Bilvamangal Thakur immediately left Chintamani, left his family, and started going towards Vrindavan. And there he met his guru somewhere. Somgiri was his guru. And there he saw all these devotees are just sitting and doing their bhajan. They're not attracted to the things of this world. They're not attracted to any female. I'm so much attracted to Chintamani. So he practiced his bhajan with Somgiri. And for many years he did his bhajan, but still the Kam Vasanas were troubling him. So then, he inquires from his spiritual master how I should become free from this lust. And there is a whole discussion of that. But ultimately, he developed attraction for Vrindavan. And he said, I want to go to Vrindavan. His spiritual master warned, don't leave the association of sadhus and go. But still his heart attraction was pulling him. He left. And while on the way towards Vrindavan, while he was walking, somewhere this incident happened in Pandharpur, they say, he became thirsty. So the bodily demands, bodily consciousness started attracting him. And he was looking for water. He saw that a lady was just pulling the water from the well. So he went, and the lady saw, oh, this is a sadhu. Oh, Sadhu Baba, do you want to have water? So when she spoke these sweet words, immediately Bilvamangal Thakur, heart, consciousness, chitta, remembered the sweet words of Chintamani. So his attraction there came. So although he was in the sadhu association, but still now, again, these desires affected him. And now he was attracted to this Brahmani. She was a married lady. And after drinking the water, he started following her. And she could understand. She went in her house and told her husband, oh, this sadhu, somehow he's following me. But when the husband came out, he saw that, oh, he's a Vaishnava. Maybe there is some reason why. So please come in. He welcomed him. So what do you want? So Bilvamangal Thakur, by the time he recollected his spiritual master's words, don't leave the association of sadhus and go. So his intelligence regained, oh, I'm again afflicted by lust. So his intelligence regained, and he asked, his wife, what do you want from my wife? I want 2 hairpins. And the wife thought that maybe there is some thorn in the leg, so he wants to remove it. So she gave. And he took the hairpins and he plucked out his eyes. Nobody can do that. Completely, you should be completely away from the bodily consciousness of life. In fact, Bilvamangal Thakur had attained Bhava stage in his previous life. Because of some offenses, in the next life, that Bhava awakened by the words of Chintamani. So very quickly, he went through his higher stages. And now he said, now no more Maya can trouble me. And immediately left. And Krishna, as a boy, young boy, cowherd boy, he came and he asked, Baba, where are you going? He said, I'm going to Vrindavan. Oh, I'm also going to Vrindavan. Let's go together. So catching hold of this boy, he was going towards Vrindavan. When they were just about to reach Vrindavan, then Krishna left his hand. And by that time, Bilvamangal understood that it is Krishna. And Bilvamangal Thakur tried to hold, but Krishna slipped out of Bilvamangal Thakur's hands. And there Bilvamangal Thakur makes a statement that हाथ से तो छूट गए लेकिन हृदय से कहाँ छुड़ाओगे अपने आप को? You are able to slip from my hands, but where you will be? No, I have locked you in my heart. So then he was in Vrindavan, and Krishna was every day coming and hearing from him whatever he was singing his bhajans, Krishna Karnamrit. Actually, Krishna Karnamrit in one sense was composed by Bilvamangal Thakur, but Krishna himself, I don't know exactly, but they say like that. It's a very, very exalted scripture. We should never read it until we are having permission of our spiritual master, until we are Uttama Mahabhagavat. Uttamadhikari, Mahabhagavata at Bhava and Prema stage. Otherwise, our consciousness will get, contaminated. Hearing these exalted activities, we cannot fathom. So some of the books in the Gaudiya canon are not meant for us. We don't have adhikar for it. For us, adhikar is Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. And, Raganuga Bhakti also, we don't have adhikar to, everything needs adhikar. So that's why we need to have that adhikar. So just flashed because these two verses of Krishna Karnamrita were there. So I just narrated his brief biography in short. Okay. Tad vasati stale priti. Yatha Padyavalim. That is Padyavali of Rupa Goswami. Nanda's house is here. Atrasit kila Nanda Sadma. When you go to Vrindavan, oh, here is Nanda's house. This is where Krishna broke the cart. Shakatasya Banjanam Atra Abhavat. Here is where Atra Damodar, who cuts material bondage, Banda Chitta Karo, was bound up by ropes. Damabir Padvabhut. When will I be fortunate enough to wander about? Kada Dhanyas Charshyami Aham in Mathura, Madhupurim. Now here Mathura means especially the inner portion, that is Vrindavan. With tears in my eyes, Anandashu Dhara, drinking such streams of nectar, Piyush Dharam Piban, flowing from the mouth of an elder of Mathura. Ittam Mathura Vriddha Bhaktra Vikalat. So this is a beautiful prayer. He's, expressing how we should be in Vrindavan and visit all these places where Krishna performed his wonderful pastimes. Okay, we have finished the 9 symptoms, characteristics of, Bhava Bhakti, and the actual real symptoms, reliable symptoms of Bhava Bhakti is these Anubhavas, these characteristics. If one has these, then there might not be external manifestation of tears coming from the eyes or hair standing on end or the Ashtasattva vikars. But that is secondary. It can be imitated. But these symptoms, these 9 symptoms cannot be imitated. Especially Nama Gana Sadaruchi, Avyartha Kalatvam, Shantir. So you will come to know when you're tested how much tolerance we have. You'll know how much time we are spending 24 hours in Krishna consciousness. You can come to know about it. Not a moment, is wasted without thinking about Krishna. So all these are symptoms of Bhava Bhakti, and these are the reliable proofs. So now there is another topic which is called as Ratyabhas, reflection of Bhava. It is not Bhava, but it is just Abhas. It is mere reflection which offers. And this is another topic which is also to be discussed and which we will discuss in the next class. Okay, so we will stop here because Ratyabhas is a new topic and we are almost 149 slides. So Ratyabhas is 20-30 slides, which we will finish next week, another 10 slides. So after Bhava Bhakti, we'll start Prema Bhakti. So another 1 class, you can say, Bhava Bhakti, and another half class, and then remaining half, I'll start with Prema Bhakti. Because there are only 40 slides, so we will be able to finish in 1.5 class. Okay, so we will stop here. Any questions, any clarifications of Bhava Bhakti? Any doubts you have? You have to just hear these things. Anyone, but still, if they have some questions, some clarifications. Anyone has any questions? Okay, then. Okay, one question is there. Yes, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, I just wanted to know how can we understand this part of what stage of 9 stages of devotional service, at what stage the attachment comes, or what stage I'm not able, because I was hearing NOI lecture also. In that, how do you understand what stage is the symptoms?
Okay. So for every stage, there are symptoms. And Madhurya Kadambini is the work of Krishna Thakur, which elaborately discusses these, especially the stages of Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anarth Nivrati, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, and Prema. So, Bhajan Kriya can be Anishtita, Nishtita. Anishtita means unsteady Bhajan Kriya. And why we are unsteady? Because of Anarthas. So, as the Anarthas are eradicated, then the Bhajan becomes Nishtita. Nishtita means steady, or the stage of Nishta. So Vishnu Thakur mentions what are the stages, what are the symptoms of one who is on Nishta. So by the symptoms, you can understand somebody is on the stage of Nishta. Similarly, Ruchi means taste, simple. You chant 16 rounds, you have so much taste that you sit and chant another 16 rounds. That means you have taste. How many of us feel like that? And then after 32 rounds, we feel like let's chant 64 rounds. You don't feel like that because it is very exalted. Ruchi is a very exalted stage. Even Nishta is a very exalted stage. So Bhajan Kriya, when we do, Anarth Nivriti will happen. And the more intense the bhajan is, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena, then the Jnana Karma will be also, we will not be free from Jnana Karma, the Anavritam, quickly, and the purification will happen quickly. So Nishta has its symptoms, like that Ruchi has its symptoms, Asakti has its symptoms, and Bhava has its symptoms. And we saw the characteristics of pure devotional service, the 6 characteristics. So Kleshagni is happening, Shubhada is manifesting. In Bhava Bhakti, there is liberation is completely tuchya. We don't consider it because so much taste is there in devotion, Bhakti Anand. And then there is Sandranand Visheshatma, Sri Krishna Akarshani. So there is intense condensed bliss. So all these are symptoms by which we can understand at what stage we are. But of course, it is a very elaborate topic, which it's a seminar in itself to understand. But just a glimpse what we can think about from these 9 stages from the Madhurya Kadambini, especially from that we can understand. Is it clear, Mataji? Okay. Any other questions anyone has? Okay, Madan Mohan Chaitanya Prabhuji. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, if you can elaborate on the last days of Bilamangal Thakur.
No, I haven't known much about the last days of Bilamangal Thakur. Bilamangal Thakur is said to be, he was there on this planet for many hundreds of years, it seems. So he was called as Leela Shuk, also like that, because he could narrate the pastimes like Shukdev Goswami. I don't know much about it. In fact, I was only fortunate to visit the place where his samadhi is. After many years, I found out it's somewhere in Loi Bazaar only. How many of you have visited? Not much is given about it. Only 1 or 2 places I've heard his life history. You can refer to some lectures. I can send you the link and you can hear about him.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fine. Any other thing? Okay, so we'll stop here. Hare Krishna. Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu ki jai. Srila Prabhupada